I died on a Tuesday night in the freezing rain. My fists raw from pounding on that goddamn door until the skin split, and the cold seeped into my bones like a lover's betrayal. My screams echoed off the empty street. But inside my own house, my house, paid for with my sweat and the blood of 2 jobs, my family watched from the warmth, sipping coffee, debating if I even deserved to come back in. And just like that, as my vision blurred and my heart stuttered to a stop on the welcome mat that read, "Home Sweet Home," I knew this wasn't an accident. It was murder, slow and deliberate, and the last face I saw through the glass was my brother Jake's, smirking like he'd finally won. But death?
Turns out it's not the end.
It's a reset button smeared with the residue of your worst nightmares. I woke up gasping, not in some ethereal void, but in my old bed, sheets tangled around me like a noose. The alarm clock blinking 6:47 a.m. on a date I hadn't seen in 3 years, the morning before it all went to hell. My heart hammered against my ribs, alive, pounding with a fury that tasted like copper and revenge. McKinley Hayes, age 28, architect by day, doormat by life, back from the grave. And this time, I wasn't playing nice. The first thing I did was bolt upright, my hands flying to my throat, feeling the pulse that had flatlined under that porch light. The room spun, my cramped apartment in downtown Seattle. Pre-house, pre-marriage, pre-everything that led to my frozen corpse being carted away by paramedics who chalked it up to exposure and poor choices. Bullshit. I knew better now. Jake had orchestrated it all. The forged lease addendums. The accidental, key copies slipped to him by our spineless cousin Eddie during a family barbecue. The whispered arguments with my then-husband, Tom, about how I was unstable and needed to be taught a lesson. They'd locked me out that night after I confronted them about the missing money, my money, siphoned from the joint account for Jake's failing startup. Hypothermia, the coroner said. Neglect.
My ass.
It was premeditated exile. A family vote to freeze me out. Literally. I stumbled to the bathroom mirror, staring at the face that hadn't yet aged under the weight of their gaslighting. Same sharp cheekbones. Same hazel eyes that used to trust too easily.
But now?
They burned. You're back. Kinley, I whispered to my reflection. The nickname Jake used to call me before it turned mocking. And they're gonna pay. 3 years of memories flooded in. The trial that never happened because family sticks together. Tom's divorce papers filed the day after my funeral. Jake inheriting the house like he'd earned it. No more. This time, I'd rewrite the script, and it wouldn't be pretty. Revenge isn't clean in America. It's messy, litigious, and leaves scars that Yelp reviews can't hide. I dressed in yesterday's jeans and a hoodie, the chill of that phantom rain still clinging to my skin. My phone buzzed, text from Mom. All sweetness, morning. Sweetie, family dinner tonight? Jake's got big news. Big news. Yeah. The kind that ends with you penniless and pleading at your own front door. I deleted them without replying, my fingers trembling not from fear, but from the electric hum of possibility. Step 1. Secure the castle. I grabbed my laptop and dove into the county records online, pulling up the deed to the future house. It was mine in this timeline too, closing next month, if I played my cards right. But Jake? He'd been sniffing around, dropping hints about helping with the down payment.
Lies.
He'd planned to co-sign, then leverage it to bankrupt me. By noon, I'd drafted emails to my realtor and lawyer, ones I'd never sent before, stipulating no family involvement. Ironclad clauses against unauthorized key duplication under Washington state law, RCW 9A.52.010. Criminal trespass. Baby. I even tacked on a clause for biometric locks. Because screw traditional keys. As I hit send, a knock rattled the door. My stomach dropped. Too soon? No, it was Sarah, my best friend from architecture school, oblivious to the cosmic do-over. Kinley, open up. I brought coffee and gossip. I let her in, plastering on a smile that felt like armor. Sarah plopped on the couch, handing me a latte.
Girl.
You look like you saw a ghost. Rough night. If only. We chatted about the firm, me grinding on blueprints for that eco mall in Bellevue. Her dating a barista who ghosted. Normal. Safe. But my mind raced ahead. Jake's big news tonight was pitching his scam startup to me, reeling me in with sob stories about mom's medical bills, fake as his MBA. In the old life, I'd bitten, cosign loans, poured my savings into his app that tracked family loyalty points. Ironic,
Right?
it tanked, dragging me down, leading to the fights, the lockout. Tell me about your brother, Sarah said, sipping her drink. He's still crashing on your couch in his dreams? I laughed, but it came out sharp. Jake? Yeah, but not anymore. Family's overrated. She raised an eyebrow, but I waved it off. Phase 2, Intel. I needed dirt real. Bury you deep dirt. Jake wasn't just a leech, he had skeletons. In my deathbed haze, I'd overheard him on the phone with Eddie, something about embezzling from Aunt Rita's estate, fudging numbers on tax returns. The secret they'd buried? Our father's suicide note, blaming Jake's gambling debts for pushing him over the edge. Dad jumped from the ferry into Puget Sound 5 years back, and Jake swore me to silence, saying it'd destroy Mom. Destroy him. More like. I spent the afternoon in a coffee shop across from Jake's office, a WeWork cubicle he sublet with my old credit card. Through the window, I watched him schmooze a venture capitalist. All slick suits and bullshit smiles. My blood boiled. Tonight, I'd go to dinner, but not as the sucker sister. I'd record every word, every lie. Washington was a two-party consent state, but hell, for this, I'd risk it. Dinner was at Mom's Craftsman in Capitol Hill, the one Dad left her before the jump. The air smelled of pot roast and regret as I walked in, arms loaded with wine I had no intention of sharing. Mom hugged me too tight, her perfume cloying. Kinley, honey, you look tense. Work. Jake lounged at the table, feet up, nursing a beer.
Sis.
Long time no fleece. He winked. That old inside joke about my frugal ways. Eddie hovered in the corner, fidgety, avoiding my eyes. We ate, the clink of forks like ticking bombs. Jake launched into his pitch over dessert, pie from the freezer section, because Mom's hands shook too much these days for baking. Kin, the app's gold. Family bond, tracks chores, rewards loyalty. Investors are circling, but I need seed money. $20K? You'll be COO. His eyes gleamed, predatory. In the old timeline, I'd caved, wired the funds by morning. Tonight, I leaned back, fork midway to my mouth. Sounds familiar.
Jake.
Like that Ponzi you ran with Dad's buddies? The one that got him blacklisted before. You know. Silence crashed down like a guillotine. Mom's face paled. Eddie choked on his coffee. Jake's smile cracked. What the hell?
Kinley?
That's ancient history. I set my fork down. Voice steady as rebar. History? Dad's note said otherwise. Jake's debts will drown us. Ring a bell? Mom gasped, hand to her chest. Eddie bolted for the bathroom. Jake lunged across the table, grabbing my wrist. You threatening me? After everything I've done? Everything I'd done, loans, alibis.
Silence.
I twisted free.
Standing.
No threat.
Fact.
And if you touch this house I'm buying, I'll bury you in court. Unlawful key duplication's a felony.
Bro.
Ask your lawyer. The room erupted, Mom wailing, Jake cursing, Eddie muttering apologies from the doorway. I walked out into the drizzle, heart racing, but not from fear. From power. This was just the appetizer. The real feast? Watching them unravel, thread by thread, until they begged at my door. The next week blurred into a frenzy of blueprints and betrayals. My days at the firm a grind of CAD software and coffee-fueled all-nighters. But my nights? They belonged to the hunt. I pored over Jake's digital footprints like a bloodhound on meth, LinkedIn lies, Venmo trails to shady bookies, even a burner email he'd used for Rita's estate skim. Turns out, he'd pocketed 15 grand from her nursing home fund, rerouting it to offshore poker sites. The secret festered like an open wound. Dad hadn't just jumped, Jake had pushed him there, forging loan docs in Dad's name to cover his ass. I'd found the originals in my death throes, tucked in the attic strongbox, but too late to scream. Now, armed with printouts and a USB drive full of screenshots, I scheduled a chat with Aunt Rita. She met me at a diner in Fremont, her walker scraping the linoleum like nails on a chalkboard. Rita was a firecracker at 72, ex-librarian, chain smoker, the only family who'd ever called Jake on his shit. Spill it, girl, she rasped, lighting up despite the no-smoking sign. I slid the folder across the booth. Her eyes narrowed behind bifocals, flipping pages. That little shit. I knew something smelled off when the checks bounced. She stubbed out her cig, face hardening. What do you need? Testimony, I said, voice low. For the probate challenge. And keys to your safe deposit box. Dad's originals are in there. Right? She nodded, sliding a brass key my way. You're playing with fire.
Kinley.
Family don't forgive. I met her gaze. This family's already ashes. We shook on it. Her grip surprisingly iron. As I left, rain pattering the windshield, I felt the first crack in their facade. Jake texted, WTF with Mom? She's hysterical. Call me. I blocked him. Let him stew. Back home, the apartment felt like a war room, whiteboards scrawled with timelines, post-its marking pressure points. Tom's face kept surfacing in my mind, that weasel I'd married in the old life. We'd met at a bar in Pioneer Square, him all charm and craft IPAs, whispering sweet nothings about building a life. But he'd been Jake's plant from the jump, my brother's college buddy. Inserted to keep tabs. The lockout? Tom's idea. Texted to Jake, teach her a lesson. She'll come crawling. And I had, until the cold took me. In this loop, Tom was still prospective boyfriend, whining and dining me with reservations at Canlis. Our date that Friday was scripted in my head, the salmon. The city lights twinkling over the sound, his hand inching toward mine. Kinley, you're different lately, he'd say. Probing. I'd smile, sip my Pinot, and drop the bait. Just tying up loose ends. Like that house I'm buying solo. No cosigners. His eyes would flicker, that telltale twitch in his jaw. And boom, seed planted. The restaurant hummed with Seattle's elite, tech bros in hoodies, lawyers nursing scotch. Tom arrived in chinos and a button-down, smelling of cologne and calculation. We ordered, small talk flowing like the wine. Then, casual as a weather report, heard Jake's pitching his app again. You in? I twirled my glass.
Nah.
Learned my lesson last time. Remember, Dad? Tom's fork paused. Ancient history.
Babe. Babe.
The word curdled my stomach. Not if Rita sues. She's got proof, embezzlement,
Fraud.
Jake's neck deep. He laughed it off, but I saw the sweat bead on his temple. You're paranoid.
Kin.
Family's family. I leaned in, voice honeyed venom. Is it? Tell Jake I said hi. Dessert came, creme brulee, torch flaming the sugar like my resolve. As he walked me to my car, his kiss landed soft.
Testing.
I let it, then pulled back. Night.
Tom.
Sweet dreams. In the rear view, I watched him text furiously. Game on. Saturday brought the house closing. A sterile conference room in Belltown smelling of fresh printer ink. My realtor, bless her pushy soul, hovered as I signed. McKinley Hayes. Sole owner. No liens.
No loophookers.
The keys jangled in my palm. Cold metal. Promise of sanctuary. I drove straight to a locksmith in Ballard, upgrading to smart locks with facial recognition and app controls. Want to keep the X out? The grizzled tech joked. Drilling. I snorted. Family's worse. By dusk, the house was fortified. Cameras at every door. Motion lights that could blind a burglar. And a Ring doorbell linked to my phone. Jake's first surprise visit would light up like Christmas. But the Real bomb dropped Sunday morning. Eddie's call came at 8 a.m. Voice quivering. Kinley, meet me. Coffee shop on Pike. Please. I went, curiosity a sharper blade than anger. He sat in the corner booth, nursing black coffee, eyes darting like a cornered rat. Cousin Eddie, perpetual sidekick, the one who'd copied those keys at Jake's behest during that barbecue. I can't do this anymore, he stammered, sliding a thumb drive across. Recordings. Jake and Tom. Planning it all. The lockout. The money. They laughed about you freezing. My breath hitched. The diner spinning. Not just betrayal, conspiracy. I plugged the drive into my phone under the table. Files popping up. Audio clips time-stamped months before my death. Jake's voice. Oily. She signs the house over, or she learns what cold really means. Tom's chuckle. Harsh.
Man.
But effective. Eddie. Whispering. What if she dies? Jake. Then it's on her. Dumb bitch shouldn't fight. Rage boiled. Hot and holy. Why now? I hissed. Eddie wilted.
Guilt.
And Rita called. Said you're reopening Dad's will. Jake's coming for me next. I pocketed the drive.
Standing.
You're out.
Eddie.
Testify. Or you're in the tapes too. He nodded. Tears streaking. As I left, the rain had stopped. Sun piercing the clouds like judgment. Phase 3. Escalation. I lawyered up that afternoon. a shark named Lena from a firm in South Lake Union, specializing in interfamily fraud. Over Thai takeout in her office, I laid it out, the recordings, the deeds. The psych eval Tom had faked to pay me unfit in the old divorce. Lena's eyes lit. This is dynamite. McKinley. We sue for undue influence. Quiet title on the house. Maybe criminal referral. But it'll get ugly, depositions. Your mom's tears on the stand. Let it, I said.
Fucking pad Thai.
They made me a ghost. Time they felt haunted. She filed the papers Monday. Hayes v. Hayes et al. Alleging conspiracy to defraud. Served at Jake's WeWork, where he reportedly turned purple, hurling his monitor. Mom called, sobbing. How could you? Kinley? We're blood. Blood? It had frozen on my knuckles that night. Blood doesn't lock you out to die. Mom.
Click.
The backlash hit like a Pacific squall. Social media blow-up. Jake's LinkedIn flooded with concerned posts from family friends, painting me the villain. Tom showed up at the firm Tuesday, all puppy eyes in the lobby. Babe.
Talk to me.
This is insane. Security escorted him out. But not before I whispered. Check your email. Restraining order incoming. His face crumpled. Regret? Or fear? By week's end, the house was mine. Locks gleaming. Cameras rolling. I slept there first time that Friday. Sheets crisp. Security system humming.
No rain. No pounding feasts.
Just me. Alive. Plotting. But peace? Fleeting. Jake's text pierced the night. You think this ends it? Watch your back.
Sis.
I smiled into the dark.
Oh.
Brother. You have no idea. Discovery phase turned my life into a legal thunderdome, depositions in sterile conference rooms. Lawyers circling like sharks scenting chum. Jake's team tried every dirty trick, motions to dismiss. Character assassinations via affidavits from neighbors claiming I was erratic. Erratic? I'd redesigned half of Seattle's skyline while they picked my pockets. Lena shredded them, countering with Eddie's sworn statement and those damning recordings. The judge, a no-nonsense woman from Tacoma with a stare like wet cement, denied dismissal. Scheduling trial for spring. This smells of bad faith, she drawled, eyeing Jake's counsel. Score one for karma. Meanwhile, the house became my fortress and folly. I'd sunk weekends into renos, gutted the kitchen, installed underfloor heating, no more freezing floors for anyone, painted walls a defiant cobalt blue. Sarah crashed often, turning it into Girl Boss Central. Wine nights dissecting Tom's latest pathetic DMs. Miss you. Let's talk. But solitude crept in, shadows lengthening with each creak. Was that a footstep? A key in a lock? Paranoia? Or prelude? The cameras caught nothing. But sleep evaded me. Nightmares replaying that porch, rain lashing.
Door unyielding.
Their faces blurred but accusatory. Mom's ambush came mid-November. A gray Saturday when leaves choked the gutters. I answered the bell in yoga pants, expecting the Amazon guy. There she stood, bundled in a parka, eyes red-rimmed, a Tupperware of lasagna in hand. Kinley?
Please.
Just hear me out. Against better judgment, I let her in. The living room smelled of fresh paint and tension as she perched on the edge of the couch, wringing her hands. Your father's note. It wasn't Jake's fault. He was helping, borrowing to keep us afloat after the layoffs. I crossed my arms, leaning against the mantel. Borrowing or stealing? Mom, Rita's money. Dad's credit. Jake gambled it away. Her lip quivered. He's your brother. Blood. The word again. Like a curse. Blood that left me to die on the porch. You watched.
Mom.
Sip tea while I begged. She flinched, tears spilling.
We thought you'd cool off.
Tom said it was tough love. Tough love. The phrase curdled, revealing the rot, their delusion that cruelty built character. I softened. Just a fraction. Old habits. Go home.
Mom.
Before you say something we can't unsay. She left the lasagna, shuffling out like a ghost. But as the door clicked shut, my phone buzzed, emotion alert.
Rear door.
Heart slamming. I pulled up the app. Grainy night vision showed a figure in a hoodie, jimming the lock with what looked like a bump key. Jake? No. Slider build. Eddie?
No.
Wait, Tom. His face half hidden, cursing under his breath.
Gotcha.
The alarm wailed. Floodlights blazing, he bolted, vanishing into the backyard shrubs. I called the cops. Voice steady. Burglary attempt. Got it on cam. Patrol arrived in minutes. Taking statements. Dusting for prints. By dawn, Lena had the footage filed as evidence, aggravated harassment, violation of the order. Jake's retaliation was subtler.
Serpentine.
Whispers rippled through the firm. Rumors eyed stolen designs from a colleague. Jealousy-fueled bullshit planted by his VC buddy who'd interned with us. My boss pulled me aside Monday. Brow furrowed. Kinley, level with me. Family drama bleeding into work. I met his gaze. Unflinching. Not on my end,
Sir.
but if it helps. I've got recordings proving attempted fraud. He blinked, then nodded. Clear name. Or we're talking probation. Probation? For their sins?
No.
I worked triple time, nailing the Bellevue project pitch, sustainable steel frames, green roofs that turned heads. The rumors fizzled when the client gushed, but the stress gnawed, weight loss, migraines, the mirror showing hollow cheeks. Twist one hit over Thanksgiving, irony's favorite holiday. Rita's lawyer called. Dad's will contested successfully. Assets frozen pending audit. Jake's cut? Zilch. He showed up at Mom's uninvited, drunk and raging, pounding the door until neighbors called noise complaint. Eddie texted me the video. Jake screaming, Kinley's poisoning us. That bitch killed Dad. Projection, pure and putrid. Mom ended up in the ear, stress-induced angina, blaming me in her delirium. Guilt stabbed, sharp as betrayal. Was this revenge? Or self-immolation? I visited her bedside that night. Sterile beeps underscoring our silence. Why? Kinley, she whispered. To survive, I replied, squeezing her hand. You taught me that. Tom's desperation peaked in December. A subpoena forcing his depot. Lena prepped me. Stay cool. He's baiting for meltdown. The room was arctic, mahogany table. Court reporters' keys clacking like gunfire. Tom sat opposite. Tie askew. Eyes pleading. Kinley? Off record? I loved you.
Loved.
Past tense. Like my pulse that night. Love doesn't lock doors, I said, voice even. Then Lena fired, the recordings, his texts plotting the lockout. His face drained of color, stammering denials. Coercion. Jake made me. The reporter's transcript would bury him. Perjury bait. But the real venom? Jake's countermove. Christmas Eve. A package arrived, no sender. Wrapped in festive paper. Inside, a keychain with duplicates of my new house keys. Engraved, "Welcome home, sis." And a note, copied from your purse at dinner.
Try locking me out now.
My blood iced.
How? The old dinner.
Months back, before the rift widened. He'd lifted them then, patient as a spider. I changed locks again, but the violation lingered, a ghost in the vents. That night, alone with takeout eggnog, I cracked, sobs racking, the weight of what-ifs crushing. What if I'd forgiven, died happy in ignorance? No, ignorance was the lock. Betrayal the key. New Year's brought resolve. Steel forged. I hosted Sarah and firm pals for a rager, fire pit in the yard.
Kraftcocktails flowing.
Bass thumping from hidden speakers. Laughter echoed, drowning doubts. But at midnight, fireworks bursting over the sound. My phone lit, unknown number. Video attachment.
Jake.
Wild-eyed in a dive bar. Ranting to his phone. She thinks she's won? I'll burn it down, house. Career. All of it. Sent to concerned parties, investors. Mom's church group. Smear campaign. Level expert. I forwarded to Lena, defamation suit incoming. But deep down, the tension coiled tighter, high tide approaching. Waves crashing with controversial force. My next move, risky, borderline unethical, anonymous tip to the IRS on Jake's offshore accounts. Leaked to a tech blogger on his apps, inspired code, read, plagiarized from open source. Decisions that blurred hero and heel, but damn if they didn't feel righteous. As confetti swirled, I toasted the stars, to resets, and reckoning. The storm was here. They just didn't know how bad. Trial month dawned like a hangover, January's gloom mirroring the courtroom's fluorescent pallor in King County Superior. The gallery buzzed, Rita front row. Walker at her side, Sarah my rock. Squeezing my hand, Mom absent. Too ill. Jake slouched at the defense table. Suit rumpled. Eyes darting like a ferret in headlights. Tom testified first. A debacle of sweat and stutters. It was a prank. Tough love, he bleated under Lena's cross. The recordings played, his laugh echoing off would panel, gasps rippling. Jurors shifted, faces hardening. Jake's turn was worse, bluster masking panic. Claiming sibling rivalry, excused felony fraud. She exaggerated, he spat,
Pointing at me.
Exaggerated my hypothermia? My testimony was the fulcrum, stand like a coliseum. All eyes swords. I recounted it raw, the barbecue key swipe, the siphon funds, the lockouts chill seeping soul deep. I pounded until my hands bled. I said, voice cracking just enough for authenticity. They watched. Debated.
Let me die.
Jurors teared. Jake fidgeted. Then the twist, Eddie. Star witness. Crumbling under oath. I copied the keys, he confessed. Voice breaking. Jake paid me. Said it'd scare her straight, but his eyes met mine. Apology. Absolution? Lena pounced, and the plan to frame her for instability. Eddie nodded. Tom forged the psych report. Planted evidence of her erratic behavior, staged texts, fake journal entries. The courtroom detonated, Jake lunging, bailiff restraining, his lawyer objecting futilely. Judge banged gavel. Order. But the damage?
Catastrophic.
Whispers of perjury swirled. Jake's face ashen. Recess brought media frenzy. King, 5 vans outside. Reporters shouting MS.
Hayes.
Revenge or justice?
Justice.
I murmured to Sarah in the hall. But the line blurred. My IRS tip had triggered audit notices that week, freezing Jake's accounts. Coincidence? The blogger's exposé tanked his last VC pitch. Controversial? Hell yes. Vigilante vibes. Ethically gray. But watching him unravel? Cathartic. Post-trial haze. Jury deliberated 2 days. Verdict a thunderclap. Guilty, conspiracy to defraud. Criminal trespass, those keys. Emotional distress award, $250K. Jake's sentence? Probation. Restitution. Mandatory counseling. Tom's? Community service. Barred from contact. No jail. America's soft underbelly for white-collar kin. But the sting? Eternal. As cuffs clicked for processing, brief. Symbolic. Jake twisted toward me. You destroyed us? Kinley. I met his gaze. Unblinking. You froze me out first. Aftermath was a whirlwind. Payout checks deposited. House renos ramped, solar panels. A home office with sound views. Firm promoted me to lead architect. Bellevue Mall breaking ground to fanfare. Sarah set me up with a date. Engineer named Riley. All easy laughs and no baggage. We hiked Discovery Park one Sunday. Evergreens whispering secrets. His hand warm in mine. Normalcy beckoned. A life untainted. But the serpent stirred. Mom's letter arrived mid-February. Scrawled on lavender stationery. Dearest Kinley, I've left the house to you. Jake's shame broke me. But your strength. It's Dad's. Forgive. Enclosed. Deed transfer. Clean title. I wept in the kitchen. Lasagna long stale. The weight lifting like fog off the bay. Forgiveness? Not yet. But understanding? Cracking open. Jake's rock bottom hit March, suicide scare. Pills and a note echoing Dad's. Hospitalized. He called from psych ward. Help me.
Sis.
I'm sorry. Voice raw. Stripped. I visited. Glass partition between us like the door that killed me. He looked small. Hollowed. Why'd you do it? I asked. Not accusatory. Just needing. Fear, he whispered. Of failing like Dad. You were the golden one, house. Career. I wanted.
In.
The secret unburied. Jealousy. Not malice pure. But malice it birthed. You killed me, Jake.
He sobbed.
I know. I walked out. But not unchanged. Therapy started mine. Not his, unpacking the doormat I'd been. Forging boundaries like rebar. Riley stuck. Our dates evolving to weekends. Kayaking the Sound. Grilling salmon on my deck. Life bloomed.
Tentative.
Yet tension simmered. Tom's final gambit. Anonymous blog post. The Hayes witch hunt. One woman's vengeance. Screenshots twisted me smug in court. Ruining family. It went viral in niche circles. Harassment emails flooding. Monster. Blood on your hands. Lena sued for libel. It died quick. But the controversy? It polarized. Reddit threads debating family versus self. My story memed as lockout lady. Empowering? To some. Villainous? To trolls. I leaned in, guesting on a true crime pod. Betrayal isn't love. It's theft of trust.
Time.
Life. Crescendo built April. Cherry blossoms mocking the chill. Jake's probation hearing. Violation. Contacting mom against orders. Pressuring for appeal funds. Judge revoked. Remanded to county jail. 6 months. His scream echoed down the hall as deputies led him away. Mom visited me that night. Frail but fierce. He's gone.
Kinley.
For good. I nodded. Pouring tea. Unless he changes. We talked till dawn. Dad's real story. Jake's first bet at 16. My own blind spots. Catharsis. Bittersweet. But the high tide crested with a twist. Eddie's confession. Post-trial. Over beers at a dive in Georgetown. He spilled. Wasn't just us. Uncle Ray, your godfather, knew. Backed the plan. Said you'd toughen up like Dad did.
Ray.
The affable retiree who'd toasted at my wedding? Betrayals Hydra. Heads multiplying. I confronted him, next day. His bungalow in West Seattle reeking of regret. Kinley, it was for the family good. Good? I laughed. Bitter. You're good. Stay away. No charges statute. Proof thin, but the rift?
Permanent.
As spring thawed.
So did I.
Riley proposed on a ferry ride, simple ring. Knees on deck. Olympics framing us. Build a life, he asked. I said yes. Tears saltier than the spray. The house? Ours now. Keys shared willingly. Jake wrote from jail. Proud of you. Earned it. Progress? Maybe. Yet in quiet moments, the porch ghost lingered, a reminder. Revenge heals. But scars pucker. I'd won. But at what cost? Family fractured. Trust a luxury. Still, staring at the sound from my blue-walled haven, I breathed, alive. Reset complete. Or so I thought. The real twist? Buried in Jake's jail mail, a photo. Time-stamped pre-lockout. Laughing at that barbecue. Handing Eddie my keys. Willingly. Memory glitch? Or complicity? Had I, in naivete, enabled it all? The controversy turned inward, hero. Or co-conspirator. Jury out. But regret? Not mine. Theirs echoed eternal. Summer scorched Seattle like a grudge held too long, heat waves warping the asphalt, mirroring the slow burn of resolution. Wedding planning consumed days, Riley and I opting small. Backyard affair at the house. Wildflowers and whiskey instead of white lace and excess. Sarah as maid of honor. Rita officiating with wry vows. Don't lock each other out. Kids. Laughter rippled. But mine caught echoes of that night. Rain a relentless drum. Jake's absence loomed. A whole no proxy filled. He'd written again. Missed the wedding? Let me out on good behavior. I declined, forwarding to his PO. Mercy had limits. The ceremony unfolded under cobalt skies. The same hue I'd painted my sanctuary. Riley's kiss sealed it, vows exchanged on the deck overlooking the sound. Waves applauding. Guests milled, firm colleagues. Sarah's crew. Even Eddie. Sober 6 months. Toasting tentatively. Mom came, arm in arm with a church friend, her smile fragile but genuine. Beautiful.
Kinley.
Like your father. No Jake. But a card arrived. Happiest for you.
Bro.
Postmark. Walla Walla pen. I burned it in the fire pit later. Ashes scattering like forgiven sins. Honeymoon was low-key, cabin in the Olympics. Hikes through fern-choked trails. Nights tangled in flannel. Riley sensed the shadows. Never pushing. Your past's yours, he'd say, handing me coffee at dawn. But our future? Wide open. Back home. Life layered. Lead on a high-rise in Belltown. Eco features earning green awards. Riley's bridge project syncing with mine. Synergy suite. Pregnancy test in July, positive. A secret bloomed between us. Baby Hayesmoro. Due spring. Hope. Unbidden. But reckoning's tail lashed. Jake's release hit August, early for rehab compliance. He surfaced at Mom's. Clean-shaven. AA chip gleaming. She called. Voice quavering. He wants to see you.
Kinley.
Says he's changed. Changed? Like weather. Fleeting. I agreed. Neutral ground. Coffee shop in Fremont. Rita as buffer. He walked in subdued. Polo tucked. Eyes downcast. Sis. Congrats on everything. We ordered lattes. Small talk skimming surface. His job at a call center. Therapy breakthroughs. Then the dive. I was wrong. All of it, the keys. The lies.
Dad's death.
I pushed him.
Kin.
Guilt ate me. So I ate you. Confession hung. Heavy as humidity. Rita nodded. Approving. I searched his face, remorse real, etched deep. Why tell me now? He shrugged. Rock bottom. And your win, house.
Life.
Made me see. I froze you out 'cause I was frozen inside. Vulnerability. Weaponized once. Now disarmed. Forgiveness flickered. Not flame. Time.
Jake.
Prove it. He nodded.
Standing.
I will. Handshake, awkward. Electric. As he left, Rita squeezed my arm. Don't rush. But don't rot. Tom's coda came quieter. Letter postmarked Portland, where he'd fled post-probation. Kinley. I was weak. Jake's puppet. Seeing you thrive, my regrets daily. Marry well.
T.
I filed it away. Unread twice. Closure. Ink scented. Controversy crested fall. True crime doc pitched. Frozen out. A sister's revenge. Producers emailed. Offering 6 figures for rights. Tempting vindication viral, but I declined. My story's mine, I told Lena. She grinned. Smart. Keeps the power. Instead, I wrote. Memoir outline. Therapy mandated. Chapters on betrayals blueprint. Rebuilding from rebar. Agent snatched it. Pub date 2027. Empowerment, not exploitation. Baby kicked first time October. A flutter under my palm as leaves turned. Riley built the crib oak. Hand sanded, in the nursery. Walls sage green. Mom knit booties. Visiting weekly. Her story shifting, Dad's laughs. Not losses. Jake? Sporadic texts, sober 120 days. Proud uncle? I replied, maybe. Progress. Pixel by pixel. Twists echo faded winter. Snow dusting the eaves like absolution. One night. Storm raging. Echo of that fatal rain. I woke to pounding. Heart seized. I grabbed phone. Cameras clear. No intruder. Just wind. Branches battering the door. Riley stirred. You okay? I nodded. Burrowing close. Ghost settling. Final regret crystallized spring. Baby's due date aligning Jake's parole end. He showed at the hospital. Flowers wilting in his grip. As I labored. Mom wheeled him in. Rita hovered. Kinley, he ventured, voice thick. Contraction hit. I gasped. Then, stay. Hold her hand when she comes. Hours blurred, sweat. Pushes. Riley's grip anchor. Dawn broke with her cry. Elara Hayesmoro. Fear-side. Tiny fist raised like victory. Jake held her first after me. Riley, tears carving tracks. Auntie? No, Uncle Jake. Won't fail you. Promise. Probationary. As we wheeled out, sun gilding the sound, I glanced back. The house waiting. Locks symbolic now, not shackles. Regret was immediate for them. In glimmers, Jake's jail letters, Tom's exile, Mom's quiet amends. For me, delayed, but deep, the doormat I'd been, enabling the freeze. But rebirth? Total. Trungsin wasn't just survival, it was sovereignty. America style, messy, litigious, laced with love's reluctant thaw. Elara cooed in her carrier. Future unfolding. No more pounding fists. Just open doors, wary.
But wide.